Hi YouTube, it's Maddie the Empty Nest Scrapper. I'm so glad you stopped by. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, I'm so glad you came back. Today I'm giving an update of my craft room in a little tour. I hope you enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. So this is pretty much an overview of my main area. This is not really a room. It is the corner of my basement. I'm going to first go over this main area in my room, and then I will show you the rest of the space where it opens up to, and also the back side, because I do have quite a bit of storage there. So here I'm going to back up just a smidge, and you can see it's a 9-cube cubby, and I do have two right next to each other. I chose these because they fit in my space. That is how I normally choose my storage. Because it is such a small space, I have to be mindful of what will fit. So let's take a look. I have a basket with small cardstock, 4x6 mostly. I keep my sprays in here. I did attempt to organize by putting a swatch at the top of each spray, and they are set on levels so I can see behind. Here behind this photo, I have a bucket, and each of my buckets are labeled, as you can see. In this bucket, I have my embossing folders and stencils. Down one level, I have my dry adhesive. If you saw my previous scrap room tour, I did have one bucket of adhesive, and sadly, I have collected so much adhesive that I need one bucket for dry, and you'll see later I have another bucket for wet. Next over, I have two photo boxes, and in it I have enamel dots and my fuse tool. Next to that, I just have some ribbon, and you can see behind there that it is also labeled. And down at the bottom, I have my punches, also labeled. So just so you're aware, I am a pack rat, and organizing is an uphill battle for me. And to give you an idea of what that's like in my craft room, I will give you a little peek of how I store my punches. So even though the bucket is all contained, everything is thrown in. There aren't a huge amount, so I don't mind digging through. But if you are super organized and keep your scrap room in a very organized way, this no doubt is making you ill. So with that, I will close it up and move on. I have on tiers some acrylic paints, and next to that, some mixed media items. It is labeled behind that photo. In the second group of cubes, it's a very similar setup, obviously with different items. So I have my journals in there. I have some glitter. Over here, I do have my stamps, and behind the photo, it's labeled again. And if you're interested in my stamp storage, I do have a separate video on that. I will link it down below. Next, we have a bucket of items of things to be altered. In the photo boxes, I have some twine and some paint. And next to that, I have some larger stamps. Down at the bottom, as promised, my bucket of liquid adhesive. There they are. Nobody needs that much adhesive. Next to that, I have my Nouveau drops, also set up on tiers, and behind that, I have some pigment powder, pardon me. The last cubby is filled with a second set of stamps in a bucket, and those are all labeled as well. So catty corner, I have my brother's Scan and Cut. I have my printer. And beneath, I have my Scan and Cut tools and photo paper as well as copy paper. Above that, I have a cute little sign that says, I'm not a hoarder. I just need a bigger scrapbooking room. And of course, I am so grateful and so happy in this space. That is just a funny little sign. And here are my diplomas for my day job. Swinging around, I just have mostly decor in front of me. It makes me happy to look at. There's my laptop with one of my favorite crafters, some family photos, my ever-present coffee, and let's see, a little trash. Next to it, of course, every craft room needs some Beatles dolls, and of course, a vintage Barbie. Beneath that, I just have a bookcase. And in the bookcase, I have my 8.5 by 11. They're stored in magazine racks, which I have flipped over to the side so I can pull out my 8.5 by 11 without difficulty and without requiring me to pull out the rack. Next to it is just a bucket of foam shapes. Beneath are some albums waiting to be scrapbooked. And at the very bottom, in the little bucket, I have some flowers. Right below me here, I keep my scraps. I recently moved them so they could be handier to me, and I hope it helps me use them more readily. This is my main play area. I do have the Tim Holtz craft mat, the glass one, and I do enjoy it. My view is of the main room, which is a family sitting area across from a television. The door that's facing me is the guest room. There's a little bathroom in there. Okay, on my desk, I have my oxide inks. I store them in a cassette tape holder, which I've altered. If you're interested in a video about that, I would be happy to make one. I got the idea from Lisaedesign, and I will link that for you. Straight in front of me, my alcohol inks and my VersaFine Clair. Those are the only full-size ink pads that I use. Of course, a spray bottle with water is always handy, and my stamp cleaner. Next to it, all of my tools in the tool caddy, and right here I keep my favorite trimmers and a set of drawers with my most used items aside from what's in the caddy. So if you saw previous videos, I just recently organized that drawer. I will link that down below if you're interested. Here I have my embossing powders. Here I have my stamp positioner. And here I just have pre-made card bases and envelopes. Next to it, I have a couple of buckets that I like to keep right under this second work area table. And I'm going to give you a little peek at that because you may be interested. In this larger bucket, I keep stamped images that I have embossed and put through in my Scan and Cut. So at a time when I would like to make a quick card, I can pick from whatever I have, and it's pretty handy to have. Similarly, I have stamped and embossed sentiments, and that goes along with the image for a card. So beneath this is a bank of drawers. Two of them on the outside are iris containers, and the one in the center is just regular drawers. So I'll give you an idea. You can see they're all labeled. Just an idea of what's inside, because I want to tell you a little something about these Irish drawers. As you can see, the top drawer says alcohol ink, perfect pearls, and reinkers. And when I open it up, there's no cover on that iris container. Sorry about that shake. That's because it wouldn't close. It wouldn't fit to close and slide back and forth. So what I found out from Lindsay, the frugal crafter, is that those covers are removable. Obviously, I've kept the covers and I'm able to put them back at any time if I choose to reorganize again. Next to it is a little bank of drawers, also all labeled, and that's where I keep my mini inks. I'm pretty happy with this system. I just reorganized it and seems to be working well so far. Next to it, I have most of my coloring materials, pencils, markers, and you can see those buckets I could just take right out. I have my zigs and my Adhesive. I could just take it out all in one piece. There's no cover to the drawer, and bring it over to where I am coloring. Water soluble crayons, way too many. I'm not even going to discuss it. My Tombos and Sharpies, my acrylic paints, and down at the bottom, way too many watercolors. So around the back, what will look different to you this time is that I have a matching bank of drawers. Embarrassingly, the entire left side is stickers, and I do have a full video on how I organize my stickers, and you will be able to, I'll link it for you. You can see I organize by category. Everything's labeled: family, school, baby, sports. You get the idea. Again, more stickers. At the bottom, I have letters and thickers, and then some specialty paper. The center, another set of drawers, is unlabeled because it's mostly empty, and a couple of things that I may disperse elsewhere. That is basically the entirety of my room. As you can see, I use repurposed furniture. I do prefer to spend my crafty budget on craft items. And of course, it's a very personal decision for each of us. So I hope you enjoyed my tour. And if you did, please subscribe, like, and ring the notification bell. So have a safe day and enjoy your crafting. Bye-bye, YouTube.